Emotions are small things. They drift through the mind's night sky like old snow. If enough come, they cling to each other. Like mothers to their frightened children, huddled close, bowed in silence, awaiting the flash that will freeze them into memory. Ice on the mind's landscape, cold and smooth and gleaming, and the tour may never come. Many years ago, a wise man sat in the heart of his order's temple. Through a life devoted to self-mastery, he had grown to resist the pull of earthly longing. Here, he wore the necklace of life, the lengthy rope of suffering that held aloft tiny pearls of joy with quiet strength and dignity. The monk was content. The only goal left to achieve was enlightenment. And many students of the temple believed that he would attain it within this lifetime. In moments of deep meditation, he shared their hopes. And then one late summer's day, with the sweet scents of sakura and pine filling his deep inward breath, a man came to him. The man was known to the sage. He was a kind immigrant who gave generously and often to the order's many causes. He also made powerful medicines for the nearby village and was compelled to ease the hearts of those that withered from the Great War's sickness. Years before, when the man was to take a local scholar to be his bride, the monk was honored to perform their marriage ceremony. It was a day of great joy, much unlike this one. The man grieved, his eyes burned with the sadness of a love lost too soon. The monk listened to a tale etched in sorrow. It was of a slow and painful decay, of a vibrant life that succumbed to the body's own betrayal. He listened to the man. He could hear the gathering clouds of regret and doubt, the sharp thunderclaps of bitter rage, and something stirred. Distant tremors rumbled deep within. And he remembered the gentle face of a young woman from the village, the warm and loving eyes that were now closed to this life. But great discipline had trained his mind, honed it to let the storm of emotions pass through him like winter wind. He spoke softly, telling the man that a radiant lantern may dim and cease to pierce the darkness, but that a sunrise will always follow. The words were lost on the wind and replaced by something else. The man was due to leave the village that very day and came to the monk with the sole request. He would give something to him which was to be buried within the temple grounds for safekeeping. He would not leave until he received an answer. The sage stared at the box for a long time, for he knew the sacred treasures that it carried. He had seen it once before, as it belonged to the family of the young scholar. She had spoken of the old ways and how they were fading from the world. He remembered gazing at its contents with fascination and awe. He was bound by honor and by a burning need to see an end to the man's suffering. So he agreed. A season passed. Each day, the monk sat at the foot of the great Buddha in silence, and the box had yet to find its way into the dark soil. Though his posture was unchanged, his heart had been turned. This did not go unnoticed. A With the falling of the leaves, his student came to him. The young monk was brazen and addressed his master in cold tones. He spoke of many things: neglect, distraction, and the traps of chaos. In a final accusation, 6 words lashed from his tongue like angry serpents.
Perhaps the master has become attached.
The sage was quick to soften the blow. He claimed that the inherent wisdom of the ancient treasures could yield a greater understanding of all things, but soon he would do as the man had asked and bury the box. The student refused to listen. Instead, he spoke on behalf of the order and decreed that the box and its contents would be sold in the city. That sum would then be used to restore the temple to its former glory, bringing men from every nation to worship at their side. He believed that this one act would surely bring them closer to achieving an earthly nirvana. The monk did not question or reason or argue. He would either bend his will and surrender that which he had promised to protect, or he would sacrifice the only life he had ever known. It struck his heart with a sureness, a fierceness of clarity. He had given his word, and his word was his bond. That night, the monk left his home. He had no possessions to gather, save for his robes and the old wooden box. The order would banish him from their minds, though mentions of a strange Shinto priest in the north bearing the Buddhist mark would likely conjure memories. But only memories. Moments, flashes, little deaths. Ice melts. The snow turns to rain. And it all washes away. So far from home, and so tired. I can do little in this place with the weight of my burden.